Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Pat Talk, episode 62. Wow. And tonight we have a great broadcast. Topic of the show is the Peanuts and Charlie. Talking about we're going to discuss the continual crash out of the Democratic Party, uh, Elon Musk and Tesla being vandalized, and what they're saying. And when anybody that's protesting at Tesla need to be very mindful with the words that Department of Justice is saying in regards to his stuff being vandalized, because they're saying this is urban terrorism. So, and we will be discussing. France said they want the Statue of Liberty back. But before we begin, I want to ask Brother Negro a question. Negro, Chef C is here. Peace. What's going on, fellas?
I love the intro, man.
Peace,
Holy
peace, peace,
smoke. I
peace.
love
Yes,
the
indeed,
intro.
Q. Excellent work, Q. Salute.
So let me ask you, Negro, because this is Pat Talk, and we always want to remind people what we're doing here. And I mean, what we're doing here is we're trying to reestablish and re-energize the true patriarchy back into our community, and understanding that the negative narrative in regards to the patriarch and understanding the patriarchal family, the negative narrative is not true. Uh, it's not true. Men need to get back to being men. Men need to get back to being leaders. Men need to get back to being not just leaders in their own home, but leaders in the community. And it falls on men. I'm gonna say a statement that is solely on me when I say this. Women follow men naturally. And though we get up here and we will say what we say about our women, and rightfully so, because we can hold them accountable, um, they're following in our lead. And if we're not disciplined and being men, this is why they are the way they are now. Definitely with this over sexuality that we see today, that has infiltrated and corrupted what we consider true Black American culture. I want to ask you a question, Brother Roland, Brother Negro. Ask you a question in regards to cologne. I want to ask a cologne question for anybody in the chat. Um, Give me three good types of cologne that you would wear, Brother Negro. Brother Negro,
Wait,
can you hear me?
okay, I'm right. Yep, I'm right here. Okay, one of them I'm gonna have to go right out the hood bodega or whatever, or any African spot. The oils, got to get the oils. That's for number one. I personally like the oils.
Mhm.
Um, you got the Egyptian musk. You got a couple other ones that smell pretty good that I like.
Give me three.
Oh,
Give me three
oh,
good ones
that
that
was no, no,
you would
that
give
was one. That was one. The
Polo.
polo. I mess with all the polos, and the other one. What's that? I'm gonna go to. This is like the rich boy swag one. What's that? Not Nautica, but what's that other brand that was an offshoot of Nautica? An
Don't say
Arrow.
don't say Jupe.
No, 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 no. It was like a spinoff of Arrow, Abercrombie and Fitch, and it was they had this one.
I don't know. I mean, listen, man.
Wait. See, help me out. See, help me out.
Nah,
You know
nah,
what?
nah. Chef Steve ain't throwing you a lifeline. No, we got some younger
Um.
brothers that may be watching the broadcast, and you supposed to be giving them game, young blood. So
Yeah, yeah.
you gotta
But I
do the
haven't
brother
worn
thing
these
too.
colognes in a minute, man. I'm just like, this is like 10 years ago. You showing my age? Like, I don't wear colognes on the regular.
Have you ever you're into the oils? Have you ever had Superior Egyptian musk?
Yeah, I like that one. I like the.
Egyptian musk is more has a sweet smell. Superior has more like a little harsher smell. So you can't put a lot of it on, and it leaves a good after smell when you walk past or walk by or you around somebody. You give somebody an embrace, they're gonna smell the oil. Um,
Yeah. I
but
just like the
one
oils more
have
because
you?
it's natural.
I'm gonna give you one, just one to check out. Right, check out Creed, man. Creed is a nice smell. It's a
Mm.
nice smell. You guys in the chat, any men in the chat, or any women in the chat, what oils would you prefer or you would recommend for a gentleman to wear, a nice young gentleman to wear? He's not trying to do overkill. He's just going out, with the fellas, uh, and he want to put on a nice oil. Tell us in the chat, what oil or cologne would you tell him to wear? Nothing too much, nothing too loud, but just one that you would prefer. But anyway, peace, Chef C. What's going on, bro? Your mic is muted.
Peace, peace. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, yes,
Okay, yes indeed.
yes. Hey,
You
man. It's been a long week, bro.
you know I want to touch on that cologne situation.
Okay, absolutely.
Listen, regardless of how folks feel about dude, that Sean John Unforgiven, that shit had man. I blew a lot of backs out after wearing that. It was easy. It was very easy work wearing that Sean John because you know what it is, gentlemen. It's necessary that you find the appropriate cologne that matches your natural endorphins,
Hmm.
right? And it may not be favorable to other folks, but with your natural fragrance paired with that particular cologne, it makes you extremely attractive to other people, right? So I would say even if you don't have a particular one yet, or you haven't identified what works really solid with your body, that should be the thing that you focus on instead of trying to get a name brand. Like my other one is a Versace. I use Versace Noir. That's my joint. I use Versace. I use Cool Water. I'm old school. I like Cool Water. You understand me? So Sean John, Unforgiven, Versace Noir, and Cool Water. I'm that type of cat, man. Particularly the I believe it was the Nautica edition, that Cool Water Nautica edition. I like that. So and I found that the one that pairs best with me naturally is Sean John Unforgivable, hands down, hands down. Shorties would be around me, man, and be like, "Yo," they felt like they was being hypnotized. It was like that. So then I started when I wanted to pull back off of my fly guy shit just to to chill the fuck out because I was doing I was getting busy. So I say, you know what, chef, chill out, man. This shit is unfair. You know it's popping with your body. You fresh out the shower. You got what I mean, you got your aftershave popping, your bald head shined up, your shit is smooth, and then you throw that on, a little here, a little there. You good. And then you do one of these, and get up out and get out, and it's ready. It's over.
That's right.
So
That's right.
so a lot of these shorties is deers in the headlight, fella. If you find your right cologne, you find your match. They don't stand a chance with that. So don't worry about spending hundreds, thousands of dollars on cologne. Worry about seeking and finding the appropriate scent that works with your body. I'm gonna land with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm gonna ask everybody in the chat, like I said, I'll just say for the sake of it, what smell good do you put on? It's very important. We know that, like I said, the premise of this broadcast and our broadcast on particularly Thursdays is Pat Talk. And part of having that masculine aura is, what most people like, a person that's well groomed, smell good, nails done, not dirty, well kept individual. And part of that is having a nice fragrance on, whether it's oils or cologne. Even for the sisters that's always supporting the broadcast, tell us what y'all like to wear. Danny, tell us what you like to wear. Danny, what you like to throw on. I know one thing. Victoria's Secret, in my opinion, whatever they mix with most of their stuff is an aphrodisiac. I don't know what they be doing, but they hit every time. Victoria's
Hey,
Secret hit every time.
hey, brother
What?
Q, my mom used to like Lagerfer. That was the thing back in the day. It was Lagerfer, and I can't think of the other colognes that used to have, like in the 80s and 90s. The musk used to be really heavy and
Yeah,
in, and
yeah,
everybody was rocking that during Christmas time.
yeah, absolutely. So let us know in the chat what you guys what you like to wear, as far as smell good. What you like to smell on your particular man for the ladies. What y'all like to smell, and for the fellas, what you like to wear, and even for the ladies, tell us what you like to wear for the yesterday freaking other. But anyway, so this week we saw Chef C. We saw the Democratic Party going bonkers. I mean, bonkers. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And they got bonkers. They went at the minority leader of the Senate is Chuck Schumer, Charlie and the Peanuts. That's why the name of the show. And they talking about he should have resigned. He should do this because Chuck Schumer is a seasoned politician and he understood why he should have voted on the budget, even though he said that the budget sucks. The budget was in place during President Joe Biden's presidency. So Chuck and about 10 other Democrats, Chuck being the most notable, was like, nah, we ain't voting no. I'm voting yes. So you saw the Democratic Party, like I said, going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, going all over, talking about they need to resign. He need to resign, so forth and so on. I'm gonna just play this, and this was the messaging coming from the Democratic Party, and this is why we independent voters and people that are objective are looking at them and how the Democratic Party right now are showing their ass. Just look at this.
In this moment.
Listen to your constituents. Center them in this moment.
But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment.
I think about what's happening, in this moment.
What's important is that we meet this moment.
So are these current Democrats the ones to meet the moment?
What do you want to see us doing right now in this moment?
And which Democrats are actually going to stand up against Elon Musk and Donald Trump in this moment?
The fight that you all are exhibiting is not just what the base wants, but it's what this moment requires.
As you can see, those were 8 different people. Not all those people were elected officials. There was a couple of people that host on CNN and various news networks, and they all used the same thing in this moment. Chuck should be a leader. Let no mistake, Chuck Schumer is the leader, minority leader of the Senate. The minority leader of the House is Hakeem Jeffries. So Chef C, like the crash out, man, and me and you chopped it up early in the week, and just like the going nuts and just the rhetoric, and now they doing all these town hall meetings, and you got Governor Walz, Tim Walz, who was, he literally got on TV celebrating that Tesla stock was going down, but the damn jackass didn't realize majority of people in his government in Minnesota, their retirement is tied in with Tesla stock.
Q, let's have this conversation, man. First and foremost, Tesla happens to be essentially an American company now, right? With the main base of purchasers coming out of the California area. Okay. In addition to that, a lot of these folks won't tell the truth that they've had their money in Tesla stocks for a long fucking time, right? And some of them some of them read up in the last week or so because it's been low. but they're not going to come out and say that, right? Um, and I can guarantee you that while they're on television complaining and trying to gaslight folks and put batteries in folks' backs, they are more than likely Tesla owners themselves, right? So what I like to really simplify here is that one just all of this is fake outrage. This is how sore losers get down, right? This is how they admit defeat by trying to complain and point the finger. Bidenomics was the greatest thing since sliced bread, all until Trump got elected a couple months ago. Right? Hold on. Let me simplify it. Okay, let me bring it back. They called your boy Elon Jesus. They revered this man as the next coming when he was all crashed out on the Democrat side. Now, the mere fact, ladies and gentlemen, that we're watching these folks initiate or even pedestalize vigilantism, right? Of just all of these Tesla explosions and that are taking place all over the place, but they haven't captured anybody, right? There hasn't been anybody put on mainstream Democratic media, right? Let me be clear about that. Democrat media platforms to be shown as an example for their wrongdoing. This is vigilantism at any other time, but now it's okay. It's okay, brother Q. They have now even given the green light for an app that is being generated to locate Tesla owners
And dox them.
and dox them.
Wow.
If that is not the greatest invasion of personal space, a confidentiality, etc., that is digital trespassing as far as I'm concerned. Which then turns into a real life situation for some of these folks that can lead to a very hostile atmosphere for them. As we are constantly watching these folks fearmonger, talking about in this moment, right? in the moment, the moment we need to make, in this moment, we need to fight. We need to see more fighting. This is whistleblowing, aggressive whistleblowing. This is battery backing and officiating vigilantism.
Chef C, let me ask you a question, right?
Yes, sir.
You're a man of a certain age, and I know that we vote towards our best interests. Me and you, I know we share that we don't have a party.
No.
I happen to live in a state where I can register independent. I know how Jersey is. You got to pick one or the other, but still that don't make you vote that particular way. Let me ask you, from the time that we did the broadcast on election night, and we saw what was going on until now, has the outside of certain things that we would say are paramount for our people, have they swayed you in any way to ever vote for them on a national level with their behavior?
Um, Pardon me, Q. Are you saying that have the Republicans, or are you
Has
talking
has
about
has
our?
the has the Democrats done anything since November to make you on a national level to make you want to vote for them going forward?
They have The problem is with that. Well, to answer your question blatantly, brother Q, no. And honestly, for whatever period of time with which I voted Democrat, that was because I was brought up in Democratic households, right? A lot of us have this story of a mom or dad or grandma, taking you to the polls for your first time and saying, just go in there and vote Democrat all the way down, right? And for the longest, I did that until I said, hold on, wait a minute. How come every time there's a Democrat term, I wind up feeling some financial strain? Every single time there's Democrats in that office, I feel a chokehold. And the moment, I could say at the most it has maybe taken a month and a half before I felt the change when the Republicans retake office, as far as finances that come back into my pockets.
Mm.
I saw the first time, my very first time seeing it was 2008, but folks are going to say, well, oh, it was the crash then. Yeah, but you told me I also had my first black American president, who then turned out to be a rainbow president, and who's also he's a Kenyan dude. Y'all played with me and told me my president was black. He's not. Okay? Melanin don't make you black American. It makes you a darker complexion is what it does. Folks get it fucked up. So, and that is the problem, because we've allowed ourselves. See, the indoctrination starts at home and is reinforced through the systems with which society is out there that you have to live through. Schooling, right? Go to school, get a good education, get a good job. Although they didn't say when you go to school, because I'm a smart Negro. Actually, I'm an educated Negro. I have a couple degrees. And I got a hella certifications. But what they didn't tell some of my other associates and colleagues, that if you go to school and get a good education, right, that particular education that you got won't put a roof over your head later on. So there's millions of folks running around with degrees that they can't even fucking use.
Because we've been, and I say this because we and you both are from, before I go to Brother Negro, for example, both of us coming from New Jersey, they tell you could educate yourself out of your situation.
After they put
not,
you,
not that you were in poverty, but they basically tell you could educate yourself out of poverty. You got upward mobility. These type of words that, long as you get educated, you'll be able to maintain and get a high 6-figure, maybe 7-figure job.
bullshit. I'm telling everybody, don't go to fucking college unless you have looked at the market and determined that particular industry has no expiration.
Mm.
Okay, let me say that one more goddamn time. Hold on. Unless you have sat down, done the work yourself, and are smart enough to consume it and then implement it later. Because there's a lot of smart Negroes who ain't got no money. A lot of smart Negroes who can't pay their bills right now. There's a lot of doctors and master degree holding Negroes and bachelors and associates ass Negroes running around, but they struggling. They need to be put. School teaches you how to work for people. It doesn't teach you how to be sustaining.
Show me the
Okay?
money.
I'm telling you that right now as a Negro who went to college, got his degrees, and said, God damn it, now when I graduate, I'm in $100,000 in debt now. Yeah. And it took me 14 years to pay that shit off. But they told me as a Negro coming from the hood, go to school, get a good education, get a good job. You could change everything. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Brother Negro.
Schooling teach you to be an employee. It doesn't teach you a financial freedom. It's not where it's at. Brother Negro, pardon me. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Negro.
I present you with this with the same question. Since November, has the Democratic Party done anything? And I don't know if you voted Democrat or Republican. Like I always tell everybody, this is my personal belief. What you do in that booth is your business. And I think that's a personal choice. And the way that most people talk about how they vote nowadays is very foreign to me. It's strange and it's weird. But anyway, if you did not vote Democrat, if you did not vote for just say Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, has the Democratic Party done anything in your eyes to get you to vote for them next go around?
I'll never vote for them ever again. I don't care what they'll do. I'm a part of the Redemption Party. I'm a registered voter for them. I think that Negro Black American people need to get their own political parties and start moving forward. That's where I'm kind of at. I, the other thing that I sent you in the channel is I looked up those other 10 names, right? Because I wanted to know outside of Chuck Schumer, who are the other players that were involved? Majority of them are from the small hat community, and it's not me throwing cash or an expersion. I have the links to justify all that as well, and I'm talking about upwards of over 60 to almost 70% out of that 10 people. So that's something that we may need to look at. Why is there overrepresentation or an interest specifically from that community and their caucus members more than any other ethnic group? They're pushing that.
I don't
So
want to
you
take.
get what
I don't
that's
wanna,
what I'm talking about.
I
The
don't want to.
Democrat
I don't
leadership.
want to take the conversation that way right now. That is something we could look at. We do understand the influence that APEC has on both of the major parties and how as long as and anybody that has financial resources, you do place a bet on both parties, and whoever wins, then they become beholden to you. If you understand how big money in politics work, definitely nowadays. So that is something that we should probably look at later.
Yeah,
But
the point that I was just highlighting is that they all, or the people in that caucus, majority of them moved in that direction to support that bill. That's all I'm just highlighting, which I found was very odd. Like
but
when you mentioned that there was 10, I was like, so who's the leader of that, and who is the leader of who is he representing, and who is he leading? And then I see the followers of that leader. You get what I'm saying? So
well,
that's all, like, because you
Chuck,
got me curious with the 10.
Chuck Schumer is a seasoned politician. He knows where his butter is bread. His bread is butter. He knows exactly what he's doing, and we'll discuss it probably on another show. What's going on within their party? We want to keep it continuously on the crash out. But I wanted to show Chef C something, and yourself, Negro. Last week, President Trump, and this ties in with the crash out. He defied a judge's order and he sent these gang members back to Venezuela. And this gang, very violent gang, notorious for violence, been committing numerous murders, South America, and It was a question stated to our infamous representative from Texas.
Administration say are dangerous individuals with ties to the gang Trend Aragua. That gang is obviously associated with a lot of crime, human trafficking, drug dealing, theft, shootings, including in your state of Texas, right outside of your congressional district. Do you agree with this? And if not, what's your issue with the U.S. using any tool at its disposal to remove undocumented violent people from this country?
Well, my argument is that we already have tools that are available to remove undocumented violent people from our country. And so the idea that you want to go into a zombie law, this is kind of like what we saw in Arizona when they decided to revive a zombie law around abortion. It is the fact that we can't trust this administration to actually use a scalpel, but instead they love to use a butcher knife on things. And so giving them this wide latitude to just kind of go across and just claim that anybody is anything is wrong. And so we do have courts, we do have processes, we do have laws, and we should just go ahead and use those. There's a reason that nobody else has decided to go back until into Adam's times in order to try to find ways to make sure that we can keep our country safe.
Okay, you guys, she was talking in reference to President Trump used an act, the Illegal Aliens Act, to get these guys to F up out of here. Brother Negro, I go to you. What's your thoughts on her response on trying to use courts to get rid of people who are already here illegal, where she said illegals wasn't committing a crime by being here illegal? Yeah, she confuses me when I even try to explain her situation.
Her and that judge needs to be removed. People need to see if they can get them striked out of their position or primary her. That would be my suggestion. They also have this judge that was out there doing the same thing, turning back the plane, bringing these criminals back to America afterwards, and putting up like stonewalling the current president 45, 47. So when I see these type of things that are being done, is where were they at with Ashada Shakur?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they want to bring them home to America, bring back Ashada Shakur. I don't want to hear a word from that. But you know that they're not going to say that. So that's where I'm getting at. The other thing is she made reference to what is a zombie law. For those that don't know, it's referring to a piece of legislation that remains on the book but considered unenforceable or dormant due to judicial precedent or other factors, yet could potentially be resurrected or enforced under certain circumstances. The certain circumstances is this: they have a conservative court, they have a conservative type of president. So yeah, of course he can make it enforceable because he made the conditions for that. So she knows what the definition of what zombie laws are, and she's in her feelings that these laws are being used. But she could sit here and do a song about the 40 acres and the mule, but she don't want to resurrect no laws to get us paid as a people either. So like this woman's a straight clown. And keep in mind, she does have a legal law degree. So all these things are things that she can do with the tools that she has, quote unquote. So yeah, like no. She needs this is the reason why the D9s, and this is the reason why I have that picture up in there today. D9s.
Chef C.
No, I love everything the brother Negro just touched on, man. Regardless of her theatrics, the lady is intelligent. Okay, she's just doing a job that she's paid for, which is to be a provocateur, a circus act. Okay, because her position is a lower level 6-figure position, and she's her net worth is around $9 million. She didn't get it. Let's be clear, she did not get it through all of this fucking all the laws and shit that she quote unquote is cases putting on niggas' heads. No, she's doing a little extra, a little something strange for change, and her behavior is very strange and off-putting. So she's just being paid to be to do exactly what she's doing. So I definitely support what you're saying, brother Negro. We listen. Donald Trump made a promise, okay, upon coming into office that he would get folks out of here, especially the criminals, okay? When he enacts a law that is on the book, zombie or not, okay, it is to reinforce his initial promise to the American people, which was getting these folks up out of here. They ain't got to go, but they got to get the hell up out of here. I'm gonna land with that.
I'm gonna just say, and you know, I'm very quiet when I mention stuff about gangs. And the reason why is because I hope that these people who have a problem with him deporting these gangs and these violent Latin gangs, whether you realize or not, it's over 100 different Mexican gangs alone. And I say this to say that anybody that has a problem with it must not really understand what they do when they come into our communities.
Correct.
They don't own bodegas. They're not our friends. And I say that to say from a personal experience years ago in Jersey, some MS-13 members killed some kids, some college kids. Those college kids happen to be very close friends with my niece. Them kids, them MS-13 members, they got forever. They got a buttload for the time, but they destroyed a community when they did that. Just you could Google it. So I think that a lot of times when we hear about these uh, Latin gangs, we don't understand that they do better in prisons in America than they would do better getting shipped back to their country. So they have no problem committing crimes because committing crimes in America is like they going to the 5-star hotel. So this woman or any other Democrat or Republican who wants these people and who has some type of sympathy or empathy for these people, they need to have these people as their neighbors, and then they'll understand.
Well, brother Q, watch this. We saw what happened when the people that they love so much was shipped out on Peter Pan buses to Kamala Harris's house. She didn't give them asylum in her home. All right, it was no refuge for them there. They were outside on the lawn. Okay, so listen. The truth of the matter is, when people are insulated, right? That's a bubble, and they're not affected by the other things that are taking place. So out of sight, out of mind for a lot of these folks. And as long as they can import them to our communities, that keeps them insulated in their own. They don't have to deal with these folks. So yeah, pile them up. Pile them up. But they're not my problem. So again, in the situation when we saw Kamala Harris, we still have yet to see Kamala Harris say, I'm taking these illegal immigrants that I love so much into my home because I want them to have a better opportunity here. I know the job. You can't find a job over there. I know the living conditions are terrible. Come on inside. No, she didn't do it. Millions of others who are crashed out talking about you American citizens need to care about these other folks, but not now. One illegal immigrant is in your house. so you can missee with all of that bullshit.
Hey, I want to add to that. They had the 95 crime bill when they were locking up black men that were quote unquote gangbangers, right? The craziest thing to me is that how could they have no problem with the Latin gangs, but they have problem with the black ones? And how come we're not viewing this as anti-black American or anti-Negro, that they're targeting us and dismantling our criminal quote unquote enterprises and stuff of that nature, but these guys are allowed to operate with impunity and even have judges jumping out the window to protect them? Like it's like $1 million of whiteness, like in Kyle Rittenhouse. Like those are the things that I'm observing here, and I find that is very mind blowing to me, because these people are not even American citizens. So they're not even they shouldn't be protected by any aspects of the constitution rights. And this is what Trump meant about that whole 14th Amendment thing. And the reasons why he was trying to make it have more of a conservative outlook on it in regards to its intended purpose from the beginning, right? So that's just some of the things that I'm observing. And it frustrates me that thousands upon thousands of black lives that were locked up, thrown in jail, wasn't even given a chance to rehabilitate from their gang past. But these guys over here, they're trying to get them to come to America to harm us. Like, this is crazy. Those people need to be investigated and probably need to be thrown in jail for obstructing justice and also violating our constitutional rights. We have a right to voice our grievances, and they're even stopping that. So it's just crazy to me that illegals who don't have no connection to this country, they have more rights than the people who built this nation. That's absurd.
Well, check this. I want to. Here's, and some folks might say, "Yo, C's a conspiracy theorist," but I am willing to bet that a good amount of those harbored illegal immigrants, right, that are supposed to be getting the hell up out of here, but it seems to be a concerted effort of a legion of liberals and governors who are hiding these folks, right, from being picked up by ICE. I'm almost, listen, I believe that a good amount of the vigilantism that's taking place right now, particularly when it comes to these Teslas, are by those illegal immigrants, right? Because again, why hasn't there been an example made yet? This has been going on. What we're looking at, almost a month of this, right, Brother Q?
Yes.
Am I wrong? And no one's been picked up with all the technology, all the phenomenal advancements we got. We got AI. We got AI. And you can't find niggas.
We got
Hey, they caught that homeboy in a snowstorm too, didn't they? In the snowstorm in Chicago.
We have 3 today. And for you guys in the chat, remember to like, share, subscribe. Like we asked the question earlier, what type of, because this is Pat Talk. Remember, you guys, what type of smell good do you put on? Let's always refer to Pat Talk and reestablishing and understanding, for the men, what type of smell you put on when you're going out, and for the ladies, what type of smell that you want to smell. I know Danny had put up that she has some Bed Bath and Beyond fragrances that she likes to wear. And what Chef C was saying, to get back to the show, Chef C was alluding to, there is a movement in the country that's going on. It's called Tulsa Takedown, where in every Tesla, and it's actually March 29th is the day. That's their big day, where they're going to every Tesla facility and protesting. However, there were some Teslas out in Vegas that was caught on fire. And you saw the administration, the Justice Department, saying how this is terrorism. When you destroying property, this is a form of terrorism. And as a way of pushing back on Elon Musk, who is an American citizen, whether people realize or not, he's from South Africa. He's been an American citizen for over 20 years. And Tesla is an American-made company that, I'll just say this, if Tesla was to pull all their resources out of this country would hurt. Same thing with Amazon. So sometimes in our protesting and complaining, we don't realize that we cut off our nose to smite our face. So I'm gonna show something up here. And this, I always got to do so. Every time I find a video, I dedicate to Chef C because we always find these funny videos.
Get out of here now. But if that doesn't happen, and we're not promoting it for 1 second, but if that doesn't happen, there will be violence. And these people had the opportunity to stop it. And they didn't.
You know, this is the rhetoric, and I'm going to blame the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
This is the rhetoric that has came out of the Democratic Party, and it started even with Trump, how they gaslight people with words of fascism. Even the those that are caught up in emotion with the racism. Elon Musk, they're taking Medicaid, they're taking Medicare, they're taking your Social Security. The richest man in the world is trying to take your $200,000. That's how dumb that shit sounds. The richest man in the world is trying to take your $200,000.
Q.
The richest man in the world is trying to take your $200,000.
Q. This man. Let me simplify it for some folks. In 6 hours of any given day, Elon will have made what some people earn in a lifetime. And he's the one that's going to take your little Medicaid from your ass. What the hell are people thinking here? That is the dumbest. Listen. The man makes so much. Salute to brother Nico, man. Salute to everybody that's checked it. Jacob, what's out of peace? Salute to everybody. The man makes salute. The man makes so much money that your little Medicaid won't even be enough, right? To get this man's slippers on. And I don't even like Elon.
See, and that, I'm going to tell you something. That is the trick of the Democratic Party. That they don't realize that's backfiring. That they get us, they attach you to their emotional roller coaster. Because it's all about emotion. Because any logical person that understands anything about money, he ain't going to take nobody money. Now, he's messing up their money that they got these shell companies at, yeah. But he's not taking nobody's money, right? Logically, people are smart to understand that. But they get you caught up in their emotion. And then what happens, Chef C? You wind up caping for this dude. And you don't even like him. And you be like, damn.
They got me down bad out here on this internet. Looking crazy. I can't stand this fool.
And this is the craziest thing about what the Democratic, and this is why I put the messaging up. Their messaging is so one accord, so to say, and stupid and dumb, and they have no plan. Ever since Biden resigned in the summer, and his family was running the office, we don't have a direction. That they don't even realize that they got people who are lifelong Democrats, lifelong hated the Republican Party, literally saying, "Yo, I think I'm gonna vote Republican." Yo, these people crazy.
Yo, Q. Listen, the white flag is being thrown on a lot of stomp down dimmies, blood in and blood out lefties is leaving, man. I've never seen it this way before. And you know what? It's a reality because folks, regardless of how much remember, we got to keep in mind, y'all. They told us that Biden, Bidenomics was fun. I know this is the greatest thing for America. It's so good. People are able to buy what they. But remember, it was $9 for a dozen of eggs before Biden got out of office. That happened under his watch. $9 for a dozen of goddamn eggs. That was him. Shout out to the wolf.
This man needs no introduction.
Yes, indeed. Let me go on mute.
He's in the building.
Ooh. You guys are special.
Well, I'm gonna ask you before we even get into the meat and potatoes, brother.
Yeah.
We got some young brothers in the chat, man.
Hey, pardon me, brother Q. I'm gonna send you that wolf sound, Q.
Yes,
you gotta have a wolf sound when the man come in the building, man.
Yes.
Pardon me.
Yes, because I wasn't alto or soprano. I couldn't sing nothing. But anyway, right? Listen, you guys in the chat, remember, like, share, subscribe, support what we're doing here. Brother Juan J. Johnson, before you even you have to get some of the appetizer. You cannot go to the main course. So, Brother Juan J. Johnson, you are a man of a certain age.
Yes.
You are the lone wolf.
The wolf is in the house.
Tell us what you like to wear to smell goods and what type of smell you like, fragrance you like to hear on a young lady.
Man, I got so many fragrances. God. Let me start off with this. I like.
What's your go-to? I want to know the go-to that you grand opening, grand closing. He was here. What's the one?
Possibly Giorgio Armani Aqua.
Ooh.
And I chase that with some Tom Ford Extreme.
Ooh.
Molecule 1 and 2.
Ooh.
Chanel Blue. I mean, there's a rack of them. I got. If you was to see my, I got a lot of fragrances. I'm one of those fragrances and footwear.
Listen, brother Lone Wolf. We're going to talk about footwear the next episode of Pattalk. We're going to really bring back the patriarchy and understanding the necessity and the need for it, and understanding that it's on all the men on this panel, and it's on all the men in the chat to be men, to be leaders, to be examples, to be protectors, to be teachers, to give instruction, to educate, to rear, to have a damn backbone, to grow some damn nuts. All those phrases that we like to say, that we got to do it. We got to accept that responsibility to take hold and control of our communities. And some of the things when we're going out, like I thought about the colognes earlier, when we're going out, you're a man of a certain age and you want to wear something nice, to ask the brothers about some cologne. So anybody in the chat, it's not to throw off the topic. It's something as we want to use as a subtopic sometimes, but when you get in the main course of the meal, you want to dibble dabble in the sides. So let us know what you like to wear. Brother Nico, you let us know what you throw on, man. You going out and it's a special occasion. You and the fellas is going out just to hang out, and y'all gonna be around some young ladies. Tell us what you want to wear, and even the sisters or men that are married. Tell us what's your go-to that you know your significant other really, really like. And like Chef C said, certain colognes and oils, when it mixed with your body chemistry, it take it to a whole nother level. Brother Juan J. Johnson, the crash out continues.
Well, I'm not surprised by the crash out because, again, if we keep it a buck, the Democrat Party has been the authority on doing everything opposite of the scriptures. That part. they do everything opposite of the scriptures. So, you can't be around here promoting everything that goes against the scriptures and then expect some type of progress. I mean, there is a scripture that says, if my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face. These folks ain't seeking no face of God. They seek themselves. They're like they are a law unto themselves. Most of their policies go against God. So I'm not surprised.
Well, interesting. And Brother Juan, I asked the other brothers a question, and I'm gonna give my answer to the question I asked them and ask you at the same time. Democratic Party has pushed me so far away from them that I would never vote for a Democrat ever on a national stage. It would have to literally, reparations would have to be their number one thing before I would ever vote for a Democrat. And then I still, even though they would be saying reparations, I still would think twice. Because at the end of the day, that party stands for everything that I'm about. And the way they eat their own, the way they attack people that give a little pushback, even their own people, I would never vote for them. So, Brother Juan, I asked the brothers the question, what has the Democratic Party done anything for you since we did that election show, since November, to get you to vote for them going forward?
Well, no. Look, let me go on record. I have been a registered independent unaffiliate since '92. Okay, and the only time when I switched my party affiliation was when I ran for office and became the treasurer in 2018, 2019 with Tanya Brooks. We were in District 9 in Maryland, and I became a Democrat. But when we lost on a runoff, I went back to being an independent. So I figure with me being an independent, I'm not loyal to none of these jokers. I'm loyal to the truth, to the facts. Somebody who's meet my interests. Yeah, I normally try to take the emotion out of the equation and look at just the facts. What have you done for me lately? What are you doing for me now? And this crash out I'm saying with the Democrats, I'm not surprised. They don't stand on nothing but filth. Nothing.
Lately, it's Coons. What have y'all done for us lately? What have you done for me lately? It's Coons. What have y'all done for us lately? What have you done for me lately?
Let me ask you, I have something I want to show you, Brother Juan J. Johnson. There's a particular celebrity. Well, before I go into him, Don Lemon said, the great black commentary formerly of CNN, said that anybody within their right mind who votes or is MAGA or votes Republican is crazy.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I always find interesting when they say stuff like this is that they try to make black people a monolith. And we're not a monolith, but you criticize us for not being a monolith. And I'm going to show you something of a celebrity, and I want you to get your reaction. It's pretty long, and I will stop in the process. One of your favorite celebrities, Brother Juan.
Who? Wonder who this is.
All of the Latinos for Trump. all of the blacks for Trump, all of the veterans for Trump, all of the victims and families of 9/11 for Trump. All of the people that's still driving around in a Cybertruck, Tesla, whatever the case may be. You know, there's people out here laughing at you right now. Who that man is was on full display on the first go round. Now listen, there's a lot of people that says, look, I don't care about none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Trump gonna help us to get money. Well, y'all see the economy. You see the stock market. You see what's going on. You see all of this unprecedented amount of power and access he's given to a man named Elon Musk because he donated over $250 million to his campaign. I didn't really know that politicians were actually for sale, but we're experiencing this in real time. I'm going to give you an early prediction. In the history of Trump, he has pretty much had fallen outs with every political figure in every position of anyone he has ever hired. They've all sued him. They've all tried to expose him. They've all tried to write books. They've all went balls to the wall to try and take him out on all level. It's one thing to be Democrat and have a problem with a Republican. It's another thing to say these are all of the people that you hired yourself, and all of your lawyers and everybody that was in Trump's cabinet have all went after him on the first round. If you don't think that's going to happen again on this round, just sit back and watch. And one of the biggest predictions, and I almost want to start a website or release my own coin around this idea. The biggest fallout that's waiting to happen, and it's going to be monumental with the things that will be exposed from this, is going to be the fallout that happens between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I can almost bank on it. I smell it, see it from a million miles away. This
Brother Lone Wolf, would you educate the man?
Let me just
Do you
take.
have any?
Malcolm X made a comment back in the 60s that, you know, we don't have the luxury to be listening to entertainers, actors, athletes. They don't speak for us. He's an actor, man. Never forget it. He ain't did this work I did. He's an actor. Malcolm said, look here. He called out some names. Malcolm said Dick Gregory. Although Dick Gregory switched up, eventually became an activist. Lena Horne, he called them out. He's actors. He's entertainers. I almost don't want to waste my breath on him. But I will step over his carcass.
So everyone in the chat, everyone
he's a crier. Okay.
Everyone in the chat said, "Is he gonna cry?"
Yeah, he's gonna cry.
I'm gonna ask everyone in the chat to put the baby emoji up for Tyrese.
Yeah.
Just put the baby emoji up for Tyrese.
And let's keep it 100. We talk about one billionaire, right? One billionaire. When the Democrats had Soros, Bezos,
and they had Elon.
And Elon at the time, too, yeah. You know, but they still had, what's the guy that had run Twitter? But he sold Jack. But all those was billionaires. See, it was all right for them to have some billionaires, the Democrats.
There we go. Hush your baby. Hush
Hey, check this. There's a saying out there. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. So, I mean, look, I'm always aware that when you listen to, I stopped listening to athletes after the pandemic. I ain't forgot you pushing that pill, pushing that shot on everybody. So miss me with athletes and preachers and entertainers because I know what your job is. That's to fool the masses.
So I have a couple more things I want to show us.
Oh, I wanted to comment on homie.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Negro.
yeah. My take on it is that he's complaining about how Elon Musk is combining his money and buying candidates. He never thought to could talk to the other black billionaires and actually start buying candidates if it's going down like that. See, it makes him. It comes across as makes us like we're very weak or inefficient. Like we see somebody's cheating. Then how about we put up candidates that's in the entrance of us? And I don't see the evolution of that with any of these entertainers and whatnot. But they were like that in the 60s and the 70s. So to see them stray from what they are today is kind of crazy.
One of the things that we learned from this, and I saw Tyrese prior to the election where he was pro Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and they ripped him on Instagram, and then he got some act right, and because one of the problems in our community is that we ostracize people based off their political views. Definitely, if you're not a Democrat, and this is an underlining thing, and we need to really have discussion about it. If you're black, you're supposed to be a Democrat. This is what people inherently believe, whether we like it or not. Like Chef C said, that sometimes a person is just from generation to generation. I was always taught, oh, we vote Democrat. Now, my grandfather gave me a different perspective, but everybody in the household, oh, we're Democrat. And let's just say if that was particularly true, your vote means you get something for your vote. You don't just give away your vote. If you're not getting nothing, and those of us that in the know, we say that we haven't gotten nothing tangible in over 60 years. So now when we start holding our vote or using our vote as a bargaining chip, the majority or the masses of us, definitely those people who are gatekeepers in our community, will try to ostracize you. And we've seen it with our own eyes with Tyrese. So for him to come out now driving his Lambo um, and try to wag his finger, because this is what they do. He wags his finger at people like they're dumb. At the end of the day, anybody that knows anything about the stock market knew that the stock market was going to go into some form of recession the first couple of months, no matter who became the president. If you understand stocks, you've seen it coming. And the economy is not doing bad. I don't know what he's talking about. Those gas prices, Chef C goes to these personal clients. Those gas prices is coming down slowly but surely. If you do a lot of driving, that $110 to fill up your tank, if you have a big vehicle, is now 60. It has went down drastically. But something that the Democratic Party don't want to admit is something I'm about to show you guys. Remember, fair use, fair
Hey,
use.
I'm Manu Raju. First up this morning, a brand new exclusive CNN poll that paints a brutal reality for Democrats as they struggle to mount a unified opposition to President Trump. Americans' favorable views of the Democratic Party's brand are at a record low, just 29%. That's compared to 36% for Republicans. It is the lowest ever recorded for Democrats in CNN polling going back more than 30 years. As you can see, the party's numbers dropping a staggering 20 points in just 4 years. The CNN SRSR's poll also found 57% of Democrats and Democratic-leaning voters are more interested in seeing their party leaders stop the GOP agenda. compared to 42% who are more interested in cutting bipartisan deals. It is a big shift from where the party stood at the start of Trump's first term in 2017. Now, this survey was taken before this week's tumultuous battle over funding the government, which resulted in one of the ugliest intra-party Democratic disputes in years, and left many in the party lobbying furious attacks at Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, who ultimately reversed course and let a GOP bill funding the government become law in order to avert a shutdown. Now, a bitter round of finger-pointing is taking shape after Democrats failed to get a single concession from the GOP, despite having their first piece of leverage to fight back against Trump. Now the big question, where does a party in deepening turmoil and in open warfare go from here?
Brother Lone Wolf, I'm gonna ask you, where do they go?
They continue to fall like a rock. They keep going down. And you can't be supporting illegals and immorality and big government and supporting the war when half of the country saying we don't want that. They keep going down. Yeah, look, I'm not on board with that, and I know a lot of independents not on board with their policies, with their direction.
Brother Negro, where do they go?
My suggestion, where as the Democrat, like the whole entire party itself, I really think that they should focus on local politics. They have no local base in any of the communities, no outreach, and they're not going to win any national elections if they don't have a grassroots connection with the community. Most critical to our community, and they're not catering to the things that we're discussing about. They're not advocating. Every time they get in position, they throw the keys to other communities and let them go for a ride. And it's getting to the point like they really need to start building credibility on a local level and actually use some of these states as incubators to promote reparations or different things that's catered to black people if it's a quote unquote blue state, right? And if they're not doing any of these type of things, it's just they're just going to be going the way of the dodo. And we need to be focusing on building our own political party to get what's needed. That's where I will prefer that we do. Build our own.
Not where we go. Where do they go?
No, I'm talking about where I'm saying they can go in the way of the dodo for all I care. They're gonna crash out. They have alienated the Black American base. You're not black if you don't vote for me, Jim Crow Biden, and all this other stuff. Yeah, they're done, bro.
Mm. I'm gonna say that the Democratic Party, as we know it, is over. And the reason why I'm gonna say it is because the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, and even in their corruption, even in their neocon behavior, that they have not been able to get rid of this ultra left socialist communist Marxist progressive movement in their party. They haven't been able to get rid of it. Just like for those that knew about the Tea Party was very, very racist, very, very unorthodox. And the GOP said, to hell with that. We cannot allow them to take over our party. And they got rid of the Tea Party. So on the Democrat side, now it's progressive movement, the AOCs, the used to be the squad, where they are so left leaning, so extra progressive. They don't know how to politic. They don't know how to work across the aisle. They were literally wanting Chuck Schumer and those other 9 to shut the government down where they would have looked at stupid, even worse than they would look now to the American people if the government would have been shut down because of them. They are in major, major trouble. And the Democratic Party, as we know it, is over. Hold on, I got one couple other things, you guys. Hold on. This is a Democrat here.
My party, I don't recognize its principles. I surely don't see any leadership. I don't want to give full credit to President Trump for breaking the Democratic Party, but it surely is in disarray and, most importantly, completely rudderless. And what I saw my governor and friend, Tim Walz, say today was appalling. And I don't want to demean any individual directly, but I'm just shocked that someone who should know better read the room so poorly. I liked him for a long time.
Yeah.
But this
It's
is nonsense.
bewildering.
And by the way, and just as you said earlier, what you said about cheering the tanking of Tesla stock, not only does that hurt a lot of Minnesotans who have their money in pension funds, it hurts Tesla employees. This is one of the world's foremost innovative companies based in the United States of America. No elected official should ever demean an American company like that. It's nonsensical. And then to call him a South African Nepo baby. He's an American citizen for 20 years. He's built some of the most extraordinary companies in the world. And call him what you will. You can disagree with his initiative, Doja. But my goodness, for my party to be, should be condemning it, should not be celebrating it. I'm really appalled right now and shocked.
I got my popcorn.
Buy some Tesla stock. Everybody, I'm going to suggest if you're into stock, buy Tesla stock, because when Tesla is going to make a comeback, that's going to be crazy. And he's right. The Democrats with this Tesla takedown, that they're behind this with this messaging. It's like he said, this is something that we shouldn't be doing. This is going into dangerous territory.
But I think you're seeing I want to say this. You're seeing the flip side of white male dominant culture and how they think. See, because watch this is white on white fight. Let's keep it clear. This is white on white violence right now. Okay, I mean, the beauty about this is right here in your face, and it's something about Trump and the Elon Musk that makes other white folks raving mad. I mean, like uncontrollable hatred and hatred. They hurt, then they hate. Whether they hate, then they hurt. But they can't think straight. They're not rational no more. There is something true about Elon Musk syndrome, or Donald Trump, syndrome, where they just can't think, they can't function. I'm sitting here watching this because, again, we got to be careful as Black Americans that we don't side. We don't really do too much siding. We just sit back and watch this peanut party. Okay? Because I know it's all about white genetic survival. Period. When the smoke clears, they're going right back on their script. Okay? So I'm not surprised. I did check out the Tesla stock. I think it's at 231. I wanted to fall. Yeah. Not that I wanted to fall anymore, but if it happens to fall some more, I get my bid in for my hold number, when it falls. But this is, for real, guys, This is beautiful, man. This is really beautiful. I mean, because you're seeing, and I'm going to say this thing right, because I know what I'm going to say going to be used against me 2 years now when I run for office, and they go, "What you mean this is beautiful when you talk about white supremacy?" You know, and that's what's going to happen.
Got to scrub the internet.
Nah, I'm gonna own that. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see this fight going on because we need. I mean, look. These folks are fighting for the next 50 to 100 years. Who's gonna run this country? That was on the table. You know, who's gonna run this country and how it's gonna look, and are we going to be a part of the equation? Because right now, again, I'm not in these discussions. Whatever they're gonna do with them illegals, let them do it too. They ain't messing with us. You can't sit. You can't send us nowhere, but you can, because again, when y'all was discussing that them illegals going to Venezuela, and I'm thinking about due process. I'm saying, okay, what if some of us get caught up in that whole situation where you got the gangs, but you know how we always find a way to get involved inside some stuff and get caught up in that sting too. Because when they shut down cities and shut down streets, everybody goes.
You know, that was one of the things that I talked about earlier this week, is that we need to be careful with what we put on social media.
Yeah.
We need to be careful with trying to side or trying to have an opinion. That we need to watch the words and the things that we type, because the minute that they start using language that will have you fall under, and make no mistake, we could talk about all these government stuff and everything. Every year, each president reinstitutes the Patriot Act.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the language that some of us use on these social media sites, commenting, intermingling with people, we need to be very mindful of, if they ever consider you an enemy combatant or enemy of this country. And this is something that Brother Juan been talking about for months, about this Constitution, because the Constitution is loosely interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
You get the wrong person to loosely interpret the Constitution, and you fall under someone else's radar.
Yeah,
You might find yourself in Colorado.
Well, watch the way that 17th century amendment is reading. That won't even exempt an American citizen, not just illegals. That's why when the judge was saying, y'all made this, the judge saying, y'all need to make this a little more clear about this whole getting these folks about this country, because again, it's like throwing a pebble into a pond. It's those aftershocks.
And Brother Juan, that's one of the things that I noticed about this administration. Trump don't care about losing in court. He wants it to go to SCOTUS. He wants stuff to go to the Supreme Court, because once it goes in front of the Supreme Court, whether they affirm or dissent, it is now in stone.
It becomes precedent.
Yes.
But that's just it. When you don't have a lot of court cases, you don't have a lot of precedents. So as many cases you can get up there, and then get a precedent, then the judges can have something to look into, to read, to study, and they can always cite that precedent. But they don't have one.
Well, check this out, gentlemen. You notice how the only thing that has been identified till this day is by the FBI is the black identity extremists. Remember that?
Yeah, black identity extremists. Yeah.
Okay.
That was us.
That's us. That would be us right now, sitting in here on this panel. Black identity extremists. But you didn't see that. You didn't see that put on these illegal immigrants. See, that's what I'm paying attention to. Right now, they're talking this Trinawagua stuff. Okay, cool. But that's not for the rest of the illegal immigrants, the outspoken immigrants. They
Chef
put
C,
that whole tag on us.
is this extreme? Yes, folks, that is a Neanderthal digging in his buttocks, putting it on a Tesla. A Neanderthal is digging in his buttocks, putting whatever he can get on a Tesla.
I'm a visual person.
Chef C, is that extreme?
Now, man. Oh my God.
Is that extreme, Chef C?
Dookie booty caucus monkey right there. Oh, yeah. That is a dookie booty filthy lib right there. Lib extremist right there. Okay, a libalante, I call him. Look at this libalante right here. Oh, that's a dookie booty libalante, man. Dookie booty.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
You can't do that.
Libalante, ladies and gentlemen. Libalante. Okay? Hey, come on.
You get it stuck on cue. It's on. You get it stuck on cue.
This Q, you all right? Q, what the?
I think Q's
This
frozen.
is a sick Negro.
Is Q, you frozen?
Q, are you frozen, Q? You got to be frozen. Q got to be frozen. God damn.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
Look at that Libalante. Look at this motherfucker. I mean, that motherfucker went all the way. Oh, that's so filthy. Yo, that is Libalante's finest.
Q, would you please move
Hey,
off the
yo.
cue? Thank you, sir. God.
Yo.
Chef C,
Man.
now is that extreme?
Yes. Those 10 videos back to back was extreme.
That's a white identity extremist right there. Okay? No, a left identity extremist. A lib identity extremist right there. This is but see, listen, this is who cats were trying to vote for. And let me be clear when I say cats. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go there, Q. I gotta do it. 90% of black women, nearly 80% of black men. You voted for that. You know how many folks I know that doesn't even agree with the bullshit coming out of the left and still cast a vote for it.
Because they are spiritually and emotionally attached to it.
And some may say why Chef C said that this is a left or right thing. This is why he said it. According to Stephen A. Smith.
Story to tell the Democratic Party. Are you ready for this? Rather than telling us what we should vote against, maybe you should present us with options of what to vote for. Just a thought. I mean, my God, are you okay, Michael, with me suggesting that? Are you okay with me, Sherry, suggesting that? Rashawn, Galen, and all of the bunch of leftists that's under my umbrella trying to act like they're independents when they're full of it? I'm talking about my own damn staff. I can say it with love and affection because I don't mind. I'm a centrist. I think my man Rashawn is a centrist. The rest of these damn people working for me, I mean, what left-wing party are you associated with? I mean, you got to believe this stuff. You got to listen to it to hear it. I'm going to say it again. Rather than come to folks with what to vote against, how about telling us what we should vote for?
That's a layup for me. Let me go. That's an alley-oop for me, Q.
You.
Look, I don't.
Look. Let me say this, Wolf. Let me say this because he kind of alley-ooped me. I got to say this. For those of you who are new to who we are, okay? Well, let me speak for me. I'm going to speak for me, okay? I have zero respect for Stephen A. Smith.
That part.
But what he just said is accurate. Can folks get off their little high and mighty pedestals to think objectively for a moment? Can you get out your...
A man must have a code. Oh, no doubt.
Hey, you can folks get off their soapbox for a second to say, damn. Salute to our brother. ABM in the building, salute. Can you separate your emotions for what actually needs to be done for your community and your damn kids, your grandkids? No, you rather be married. So many folks are on some till death do us part shit when it comes to this Democratic Party, that they don't care who they burn down in the process.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? A person will have an unwanted pregnancy and abort it because they can't afford the pregnancy.
Come with it, Q.
A person will be in a marriage and give up on a marriage because it's not healthy enough and say, I give up. Find other ways. A person will be living in an apartment. Get out of that situation to go find better. But here it is, we've been going to this one plantation, our people, in high numbers for 60 years. And they haven't given us anything. And the ones that do call themselves representing us, gatekeep it.
Come on.
We got to wake up. We got to wake up. The boogeyman theory is gone. This is why the Democrats are losing like this.
I'm supposed to be Q. You supposed to be in slavery.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be in slavery right now. That big black dude, the wolf over there. We talk about the wolf. They want that back in slavery. Why he ain't in slavery right now on somebody's field?
I'm gonna tell y'all why the Democrats keep losing, because this is what they do to the American people, and this is what they've been doing to us. This is what they did to 93% of women, black women. And this is what they did to over 80% black men. This is what they did right here.
Come on.
Listen to your constituents. Center them in this moment.
But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment.
You know, I think about what's happening, in this moment.
What's important is that we meet this moment.
So are these current Democrats the ones to meet the moment?
What do you want to see us doing right now in this moment?
And which Democrats are actually going to stand up against Elon Musk and Donald Trump in this moment?
Fight that you all are exhibiting is not just what the base wants, but it's what this moment requires.
And that's who they replace your girl Joy Reid with big back, scoop ball head Simone Sanders and friends.
Some 9 different screens, all of them having the echo chamber with the same message. That is the problem with the Democratic Party. They don't know the room.
Well,
They
the
don't
memo,
care about the room.
Q,
You know
we gotta
why?
be Q. We
Because
gotta be
they're still
honest.
gonna get 93% of the vote next time, and they're still gonna get 80% of the male vote next time. They don't care. I'm not saying I'm not,
That
and I
part,
know
Q.
the game is, oh, neither party care about us. Oh, knock the straw man argument away. We're talking about the Democratic Party, who, let's be honest, the brothers on this panel are Black Americans. Majority of people that watch the shows are Black Americans. We may have some white Caucasian people that may watch our shows. We appreciate y'all for watching our shows. However, the Democratic Party comes to us whenever they need our vote. We have not gotten anything for our vote. And we still voting for them. We just had the worst candidate get 93% of our women, 80% of our men. Probably the
Crazy.
worst presidential candidate in history, who was unfavorable when she was a vice president. And we're regurgitating it over and over and over. 2028, we're going to be coming, as they say, at this moment. And we're going to be doing the same thing. Because you know why? We don't feel right voting for Republican, because you're going to be ostracized and called a coon and made feel funny if you vote Republican.
Not having the historical understanding and knowledge that Black Americans started that fucking Republican Party. You goofies. It started with us. Let me sit back, man.
No, you're right. It did start with us, and again, this didn't happen overnight. That we hear. Look, I'm just glad that we're having the discussion, because at one time this wasn't even a discussion. You know, and I don't really listen to Stephen A. Smith myself, just like you, Chef, or Roland Martin, or Joy Reid, and even my president governor, Wes Moore, because they all get one thing in common. They cosplaying.
And the literal thing is that they're cosplaying so bad that they have nothing to offer. It is the boogeyman. Why would you vote for Trump? Why Elon? Why this? Why the Trump can't run again after this? It's going to be a new boogeyman, y'all.
No, I think that, I think that they do have things to offer. If you listen to them close enough, they with that DEI piece. They are with, look at Wes Moore, man. He's on board with the sanctuary cities in Maryland. He's on board with making sure the illegals are taken care of. Joy is on board with making sure the immigrants are taken care of, because they're immigrants. Roland Martin, he's no different. Stephen A. Smith, you're the king of cosplay. 101.
Come on.
He's the king. Okay? So here it is. I wouldn't feel comfortable going to their country speaking on their issues if I was a first or second generational. I don't feel that comfortable. But y'all feel real comfortable speaking on Black issues. So I don't have to say too much, because if you really knew what I really wanted to do,
We got one
Getting
last
looking
one.
good.
One last one before we get into the dessert portion of the show.
Two horrific weeks, and it really just comes down to what Donna said. They've got no leader. They've got no movement. The only thing they've got is Trump derangement syndrome. It's the only thing that brings them together. And the only thing they got out of this week was, well, who's going to primary Chuck Schumer? What are we all about? AOC and Bernie Sanders are the only people in their entire party that can get a crowd of over 20 to show up. So the only thing they are, I mean, they're afraid of Trump. Trump owns them. And it was a total slam dunk for the Republican Party.
I'm gonna need everybody in the chat to even the folks over on Twitter. Make sure you guys hit that love symbol on Twitter. Make sure you come to the YouTube side of things and make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna need everybody to hit the like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna play a video real quick, and then we're gonna go to the dessert portion of our broadcast. Little quick video. Yeah, I just wanted to play that because that is one of our intros, and that just set the tone for our dessert portion of the program, where we want to send some kind words. And Ebony, you kind of commented on the topic already. Um, we want to send prayers and kind words to Dr. Short and his mom. Dr. Short's mom is in the hospital, and they need prayers.
Mhm.
They need prayers. Everybody in the chat. We understand that life's and things happen, but prayer could change a whole bunch of things. Nothing is dire. She's just she's in the hospital, and hopefully she's going to get better. Dr. Short is he's there and around and being his witty self. He just isn't on the broadcast. I talked to him the other day. Juan, you probably talked to him today, right? Well, actually, we're in the group text, and he always, anybody that's in Dr. Short's group text, y'all know how he'll just come with a random text that just be out of this world. But make sure you guys, for those who do pray, we understand that everybody may not have that believe in a creator that's bigger than themselves. But if you do, we ask that you pray and and ask that his mother and himself get a quick healing and they get back on their 2 feet and better than ever, stronger than ever. And we have them amongst us for many years. So, fellas, before we close out, yeah, I go want to throw a wrench in the game, right? Brother Juan J. Johnson, man, I gotta go to you. I have to go to you, sir. Um, I just have to do it, you know. Let
No,
me
you
ask
don't.
you a question. Let me ask you a question. I need some soft bottom shoes to wear. I'm going out. What do you prefer?
Soft bottom, uh, floor shines, some clocks. I didn't say Stacey Adams. Okay. Although, if you can find a good pair, you only get it. But some floor shines real good. Clocks is real good. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of. You talking about dressy, or you talking about just casual?
Just casual.
Oh yeah, you get some clocks, man. Should I go get one to show you?
Yes, absolutely. That'd be great.
You know,
And
no, I'm talking.
you guys in the chat. I need you guys in the chat. I'm gonna do something real quick. I like to throw one thing, man. We deal with a lot of humor on our broadcast. If you ever seen any one of our shows on our separate channels, we all like to laugh. We all like to have fun. This is what we do. You guys in the chat, I need you guys to put the hat emoji in the chat if y'all want Chef C to wear his fedora from going forward for every broadcast. If y'all want Chef C to wear his, because Chef C like to wear a hat, you guys. He keep his head bald, but he always wears a hat when he's doing broadcasts, when he's doing events. He covers his head. He's from the era where a man always wears a cap.
I
Wears a
got
hat.
my hat on.
So you guys put the hat emoji if you guys want Chef C to wear fedora for every Pat Talk going forward. If we get 10, Chef C is going to start wearing his fedora going forward.
No objections to that.
Uh-oh.
I don't mind
We
wearing
got
that.
one coming. We go count 10. We need 10. We need 10. So, Brother Juan, you said some nice Clarks.
Mm-hmm. I think Brother Nico wants you to mention something going on in Ohio, Springfield.
We want to mention it, Brother Nico, but we're trying to really stay on topic. Just know that the brothers in Ohio are doing what they're supposed to do as patriarchs, protect their community, and we'll probably address them next week. Maybe one of them we could reach out to them and try to figure out if they'll come on. Okay, we got 2. Chef C. We got 3.
It may be a superpower. You know, yeah. Look, I'm not a bald dude. So I don't know how to talk on bald guys' issues. You know what I'm saying?
All right, we need 7 more. We need 7 more hat emojis.
It ain't gonna happen tonight, Q.
Yeah, y'all saying like what?
It ain't gonna happen. Yeah,
I don't want chefs. Y'all must have never seen that fedora he got. It's tight. One of them. I seen one of them. It's tight.
He may not be revolutionary with that fedora on.
Got 4. He said this 5, Chef C. They just wrote hat.
Nah. You said hat emoji in there. It's got to be a hat emoji, sir. Nah.
You said hat
So it's
emoji.
only 4.
Sister Star said, "I'm in," and ain't say nothing else.
See, only 4. You only got 4, Q.
We only got 4, Ebony. We only got 4. We need 6 more people to put a hat emoji up.
Hey,
Just the hat
that's
emoji.
light for me, man. Hey, pull that Statue of Liberty drawing up though, Q. Pull
Oh,
that one up.
they go 5. Hold up.
Okay,
So
that's 5.
in
That's
in
5.
in
Yeah.
in nigga news, in
Yeah.
nigga news, we're gonna discuss something. Hold up. One last thing before we close out, and I apologize for this. Where is it at? Here we go.
Brother Negro, you still there, sir?
You're gonna check that out.
Okay.
Chef C, do you see it?
No.
Oh, there you go. There we go. Does the U.S. deserve the Statue of Liberty? Not anymore, one French politician says.
It didn't pull up the share screen.
Hold up. Oh, man. Hold up.
But I will say this, man. I mean, we're looking at a time. Well, I would love to see men get back to the old way we used to. You know what I mean? I'm an old millennial. I'm not a young millennial. I'm an old millennial. So, no hat emoji on my chat. I'm an old millennial, man. I would love to see men start getting like that Harlem Nights era. Just when brothers was really clean. I wasn't born during that time per se. Well, I was just a baby during that time, just a little youngin'. But I think I really would like to see us get back to that just regularly and actually meaning something. Nah, Danny, that don't count. You can't get a double count, Danny. I saw you was one of the first ones. See, the only reason I remember because you was one of the first ones, Danny. Ain't no double counting there. She tried it though. She tried it. Nah.
Chef C, could you see the screen?
Yes, sir. We are live
Okay.
now.
All right.
Francis saying, give them back their damn Statue of Liberty, y'all. Give it back.
Yeah. You can get it back.
Right. Let's have this. Can we have this conversation real quick? I want to listen. I want to have this conversation. Take the shit. That's me. Yeah. France, you want it back? Take it back.
They want the original one, the one with the chains around the ankles.
We got a couple minutes to discuss it. My bad, Chef C, for waiting so late to bring it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get into it really quickly because a lot of people don't understand what that Statue of Liberty really is. Okay, it was a gift from the French. It was a gift to America because through slavery, that had built a whole nother economic base around the world through this particular system of enslavement of black men and women. Okay? And as a token of their gratitude via cotton and other means, they say, you know what? Let's send this thing over to the United States to show them just how much we appreciate how they was doing them Negroes over there. Okay? But see, here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. What happens over time with a statue such as this, first and foremost, let's be very clear. Lady Liberty is a black American woman. She was a black American woman, y'all. And over time, they restructured the face of that damn Statue of Liberty, ladies and gentlemen, to hide it. In addition to that, they allowed the aging or per se the oxidation of what was once a full copper statue. It's still copper, ladies and gentlemen. It's still copper because you know what? The only portion of that Christopher Columbus bullshit story was the fact that when they did come to this land, they met copper color people, the indigenous, that they then enslaved and threw amongst a whole bunch of other folks, okay, from different countries and shit. Because you only hear about the ones that got shipped in, not the ones that got shipped out from these United States. Okay? So what we need to get some understanding is this. When anybody attempts to clean that statue, right? Clean some of that green off of it, you will be penalized. You would get a fine from New York for attempting to clean that statue, because what really lies under there is the original copper color. And see, a lot of times you see pictures that are blurred out like this, showing this little silhouette instead of showing the close-up of those chains that are binding, quote unquote, Lady Liberty. Okay? The irony of that, the darkness with which that is shown, right? That they won't keep it a absolute buck that, okay, yes, we will celebrate this Lady Liberty, but guess what? She is bound by her duty to us. So France is saying to the United States, you reneged on what is our universal code, which was to always keep these Negroes down and bound to our service or servitude to us. You got off code, France is saying. Okay? And you got off code, one, by allowing Trump to get back in office because he's going against the grain a little too much. The servitude. What happened to the servitude? Y'all getting a little beside yourselves. America, run me my shit back. Because we not on the same page anymore. Don't ever get it twisted. A lot of folks that came here on these Ellis Island shit, and then all the other illegal immigrants who have gotten here over time, mass immigration coming over here, all right, the Great Migration as some of them call it, they don't know the true story of Lady Liberty. And they can damn sure never tell you about it. Yes, when Christopher Columbus initially, or whoever, got here, copper-colored skinned people were here to meet him at the shores. And even if that, some folks say, oh, that didn't even really happen, Chef. But guess what? France knows enough about it to send a statue over here in its great memory. So who lying, y'all? And let's be very clear about something here. United States of America has never shied away from memorializing deviant and degenerate shit. You got statues of their quote unquote heroes all over the place. And then when Negroes started taking it down in 2020 or 2021, when it shut down, right? You got folks being outraged all over the country because we're saying, oh, a Robert E. Lee statue needs to get the fuck up out the way. But Lady Liberty standing tall. Make it make sense, y'all. So any illegal immigrant, or into some regard, an immigrant who then says, well, we all black. If you don't know the history, then you don't know the black American experience. And that's okay. You can stand on being whatever other country of melanated origins you come from, but your experience is not ours. You may have gone through whatever form of slavery, and your claim needs to be taken up with the queen in some places, but not here. It happened to us here. And they followed that blueprint and did some kind of multiplication. They maximized that. They said, you know what? This shit is doing so great in the US. Let's do it everywhere. Huh? Who did Hitler come to learn these diabolical tactics from? Y'all better stop playing with C. We ain't all the same because we have this similar skin complexion. We're not. And you and anybody else should be okay with that. But you ain't Black American. You might be a hyphen American, but a hyphen American, but that's it. This is our experience. So France, come get your shit. We don't need that memory. You can have it. I'm a lame.
With that, we're going to close out for tonight. Thanks for joining Pat Talk, episode 62. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Remember to look out for our various shows on our platforms. Continue to pray for Dr. Short and his mom. Until then, family, we are out.
The Pat Talk podcast is a thought-provoking platform dedicated to exploring the necessity of reestablishing the patriarchy as a means to address pressing issues within the Black community. Hosted by passionate and insightful voices, the podcast delves into the historical and cultural significance of patriarchal structures, arguing that their decline has contributed to many of the challenges faced by Black families and communities today. Through candid discussions, the hosts examine how the erosion of traditional family roles has impacted mental health, economic stability, and social cohesion. Each episode tackles a range of topics, from the importance of strong male leadership and the role of fathers in child development to the societal consequences of absent paternal figures. The podcast also addresses systemic issues such as mass incarceration, educational disparities, and economic inequality, offering solutions rooted in the restoration of patriarchal values. The hosts emphasize the need for Black men to reclaim their roles as protectors, providers, and mentors, while also encouraging women to support and uphold these values. Pattalk podcast doesn't shy away from controversial or uncomfortable conversations, fostering a space for honest dialogue about accountability, responsibility, and cultural renewal. By blending historical context with modern-day analysis, the podcast aims to inspire listeners to reflect on the importance of strong family structures and community leadership. Whether you agree or disagree with its premise, Pattalk podcast challenges conventional narratives and invites listeners to rethink the path toward empowerment and progress in